a recent video, we got ourselves started with exploration, one of the best income paths for new players. So how do we go to the next level with exploration? There are a few exploration sites in EVE that can pay insane amounts of ISK, but they also punish explorers who don't know what they're doing. In this video, I'm going to show you 2 of them and how to walk away with the loot. Hello everyone, my name is Lynn Rankin, and today I'm going to guide you through some of the more challenging exploration sites to deal with in New Eden. In my last exploration video, I gave you guidance on how to get started with exploration and start experimenting with mechanics like scanning, hacking, and the different hidden rules that will take the activity from frustrating to financially rewarding. Now we'll be taking this further. You should be familiar with the basic exploration sites by now. Maybe even taking your exploration frigate into low sec for some spicier loot. And maybe some of you have found sites such as ghost sites, not the besieged ghost sites. Those are combat sites and not hacking sites. You'll die in a scanning ship. And sleeper caches. That's what we're going to be tackling today. Ghost sites and then the limited sleeper cache. The first of 3 levels of sleeper caches. These sites offer massive rewards, but linger too long or fail a hack, and there goes your ship and everything you collected to this point. This is why I'm making this guide, so you can more confidently take on these sites and walk away with the loot as safely as can be. Before we get into the mechanics of these sites, we're going to talk about the fits. I have 2 fits for you today, one for Omega pilots and one for Alpha pilots. We're going to start with the Alpha version. We're going to continue progressing down Caldari, and we're going to use the Heron Navy issue. This is a relatively cheap alternative to something like the Astero, while giving us some improved hit points and survivability, while still retaining that large cargo hold from the Heron and being bonused for hacking. And though an Alpha pilot still cannot cloak, this gives you a cheap way to progress towards a covert ops frigate like the Buzzard. A lot of these modules we've talked about before in other videos, so I won't rehash why we have them equipped. Instead, I'll explain the overall concept of why we have this setup. You'll notice here we're actually maximizing our explosive resistances, because if we fail a hack, we will be able to absorb the explosion damage from a ghost site, and they only do explosive damage. We should be able to absorb a low sec container, though make sure your micro warp drive is not on when you're failing a hack. We've also upgraded our probes, not the launcher, the probes themselves, to Sisters core scanner probes. This will give us just a little extra hand when scanning sites down. With a mobile depot and our cargo hold as well, we have the ability to swap fittings in space as we need to for things like sleeper caches, where we need to be able to run data and relic containers while still remaining tanky. Lastly, you'll notice that I have a cargo scanner in my cargo hold. This is for refitting with the mobile depot. That's because when we are in ghost sites, we rarely will be able to hack all the cans. We'll want to hack the most valuable 1 or 2 cans and get out before the NPCs arrive and start destroying the leftovers or start shooting you. So with these sites, you don't need to worry about cherry picking, because as soon as you arrive in a ghost site, you're on the clock, and then the site will respawn somewhere else. This Alpha Heron Navy issue is about 22 million ISK at the time of this video. Now I'm going to show you a Omega variation of this fit. It still can't cloak, but again, you should be working your way up to that little by little. And because of our Omega skills, we're able to fit more powerful variants of modules we had on the Alpha version. And we've also upgraded our core probe launcher from Tech 1 to a Sisters core probe launcher. Why do we not go for Tech 2? Because the Tech 2 version only offers a 5% bonus to scanning strength, and the Sisters variant provides 10% bonus while being less skill intensive. It is more expensive. It's actually worth the entire ship by itself, pushing our ship's price up to 64 million ISK at the time of this video. But it's definitely worth it, and why it's considered a standard. Just make sure you can afford 3 of your fully fitted ships before committing to upgrading to a Sisters Core probe launcher. Now, for the purpose of this video, I will be using my Lynn Rankin character and her skills. However, I will be limiting myself to the Alpha variation of the Heron Navy issue. This should give you a little bit of an idea how this operates, but just for ease, I use my Lynn Rankin character. Take that as you will. With all this set, I'm going to go ahead and undock, and I'll see you when we find a ghost site. If you want a free 1 million skill points to use however you want, you can use my recruitment link in the description below for 1 million free skill points to give you a quick boost in training your skills. However, I recommend you check out and prioritize the EVE University core skill plans. Also linked down below. I do receive rewards if you upgrade to Omega or purchase Plex. Now we found ourselves a standard ghost site. Finally, I had to scan down literally 100 signatures to find this ghost site. These go fairly quick and you need to be working quickly. I'm going to pause and explain what's on screen as needed in this section of gameplay. Firstly, my silly brain blocked out that we needed the cargo scanner in the mids and I was too tanky. By removing the multi-spectrum shield hardener, we should still have enough tank to fail a hack and move on and leave the site in safety. When we get into the site, I start cargo scanning and find the top 2 to 3 most valuable cargo containers, and I start working on hacking them. The hacks themselves are actually not that difficult. However, if we leave the hacking minigame, it is interpreted as a fail and it explodes, like it happened here when I tried to run from the NPC pirates when they showed up. Thankfully, I did not have my micro warp drive on, but I did not have my explosive shield hardener on, so we nearly blew up. Suffice to say, that was a close one. That's the basic principle for running a ghost site in EVE Online. Find the most valuable 2 to 3 cans, hack them, and get out. The hacks themselves are not that difficult. It's more the pressure of don't fail. Make sure your explosive shield hardener is on, and if NPCs are coming in, hurry to finish the current hack and get out quickly, or face tank the can like I did. And for our trouble, we warped out with loot worth 200 million ISK if you factor in the implants. Keep in mind the margins on implants is very thin. So doing data and ghost sites will help you collect most of the material you need in order to actually make the implants instead of buying the materials to make the implants. When I was wrapping up my session, we'll get to the limited sleeper cache here in a moment, I found a lesser ghost site, which is the high-sec version of these ghost sites and much easier to run. And I made about 100 million ISK in this site if you include the blueprints I got. Now we can start looking for a sleeper cache. I'll get back to you with it after we find it. If you are considering purchasing Omega or Plex for EVE Online, I recommend you use my creator codes in the description of the video to show your support for the channel. With the EVE Online store, you can use my code LIN to show your support for the channel, or you can use my code LIN in the Marquee Dragon store for 3% off your EVE Online purchases. I do receive a small kickback when you use these codes. We found ourselves a limited sleeper cache. So what are sleeper caches in general? Essentially, they're all puzzle dungeons full of environmental hazards and things you need to hack in order to manipulate the room to safely reach loot. There's 3 levels of sleeper caches currently in the game: limited, standard, and superior. We'll be talking about the other 2 sleeper caches in a future dedicated exploration video. Today, we'll be focusing on the beginner version of these caches. After scanning the signature, you land in an entry pocket containing a container called the Hyperflux Generator. We need to hack the Hyperflux Generator. When we successfully hack this, a spatial rift will spawn and it'll act like a gate that'll get us into the main puzzle room. If we fail, it starts a 2-minute timer. If we don't succeed a hack within that time frame, the entire site despawns. Once we successfully hack the site, go ahead and enter the rift. When we arrive in the main area called the ransacked storage site, it's important to see what kind of environmental hazards exist here. We have damage clouds, structures that explode if we get too close to them, and a force field that will activate if we get too close to a depot. The recommended process is to cargo scan all of the containers first and decide which ones are worth it, so that way we know which puzzles we need to go for. This matters because some containers require extra puzzle steps. I didn't do this because I wanted to show you how to get to each container. We're going to start with disabling the gas cloud, the pressure control puzzle. One storage depot sits inside of a damaging cloud. Nearby is a structure called the remote pressure control unit. We're going to hack the remote pressure control unit. When we successfully hack it, the gas cloud temporarily shuts down, giving you a short 2 to 3 minute window, so we can approach and loot the depot safely. If you ignore this and you enter the cloud, your ship will start steadily taking damage. Next, we have the plasma chambers. The plasma chambers are highly unstable. If you move by them too close and too quickly, they will explode and cause some damage. So we're going to move slowly, keeping these plasma chambers around 7 kilometers from us. Any closer, we risk explosions. This puzzle is mostly about being slow and methodical. Once we've hacked the containers, we can move on to the final puzzle of the limited sleeper cache, the force field. One storage depot is protected by a force field generator that will activate if you get too close. Nearby, between some plasma chambers, we have the remote defense grid unit. What we're going to do is we're going to hack the remote defense grid unit. And on a success, the force field protecting the depot won't activate when we approach it, so we can hack it. Failing this hack may trigger an explosion near the defense unit that deals a decent amount of damage. Though, interestingly enough, I got very lucky. See, there's a chance that nothing happens if you fail the hack on the remote defense grid unit and you can try again. I got very lucky with the RNG and was able to disable the force field and collect the last container. And there we have it. You just finished your first limited sleeper cache and warped away with about 50 million ISK in value before considering the blueprints. I recommend making sure you have all of your loot dropped off somewhere before attempting this site, as it can be very dangerous and you will likely die in your first few attempts. I still die in sleeper caches on occasion, and that's okay. Now, I ignored a lot of exploration sites specifically trying to find these examples for you. So my exploration run could have been way more profitable if I were scanning and hacking all of the data and relic sites as I went along. So keep that in mind when considering how much these sites are worth. Remember, your ships in EVE are like ammo. They will explode, and hopefully you can make some ISK between the explosions and come away making billions doing exploration. As you get more advanced and comfortable and subscribe to EVE Online, you can get into covert ops ships, which will be the subject of our next exploration guide video, where we'll be going over the standard and superior sleeper caches. So subscribe so you don't miss it. If you enjoyed this video, definitely give it a like so I know to create more videos like this one in the future, and also consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss my next video. We're getting very close to 4,000 subscribers and I appreciate each and every single one of you. If you really like this video, consider using my creator codes in the description down below. If you haven't seen it yet, I recommend you check out my EVE Iron Man series, where I was locked from using my main character until I completed the Air Career program without interacting with the player market or trading other players. I want to take a moment to thank my YouTube and Patreon members. Your support means the world to me. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I couldn't do this without you. Bye-bye now.